So how long did you work for NNTC, Emory?
50 years, 3 months, and 6 hours.
So just a few, 6 hours? You didn't even work a full day the last day?
No.
Now, which positions did you have here at the company?
Well, when I started with them, it was on a crew to go up and down the rural area wire lines. We'd trim trees off of them. We'd go into the customer locations. We'd check in the protector on the outside of the house and replace the carbons that were there if they needed to be replaced, because that'd be one of the first places that would catch lightning. And we'd go in and we'd check the cords on their phones. If they were afraid, we'd replace them. And everything was rotary dial, so we'd check the dial. If it came back too slow, we'd pull it out, put a little oil in there, pop it back in, and we'd go down the road to the next place.
So you
if there
were
was
more of a
lightning on.
technician when you started?
No,
No?
it was just you do this and do that.
Whatever,
Yeah.
the all-encompassing.
Yeah,
What year
and,
was that you started?
That would have been the fall of '64, but then I was more of just a service person that did installs, disconnects, troubleshoot problems that customers may be encountering. I think it was about 70. Then I moved into the central office area, and I worked all the central offices until in '78 I got the opportunity to be general manager. So then 30 plus years as general manager. I always enjoyed what I was doing, even from my early days, because one of the things that I guess I enjoyed most, and I think that followed me all the way through my years here, the work that I was doing gave me the feeling that I was helping somebody in the communities. It was the variety of the work, but it was always about service. Bringing a new service into a house that didn't have service, repairing a service that was taken out of service by lightning or whatever, storms. And we went through several ice storms that brought a lot of facility down through the years too, which again was really one of the things that prompted us to look in the direction of buried cable facilities to help stormproof those service areas. And there was some discussion too, because some people will say, oh, well, that's just a fad, and others say, no, that's where things are heading. And so we had some interesting discussions early on in the board of directors. We jumped on to the concept of internet service and working to provide that. But there were also limitations to our ability to provide it at that time, because the buried plant that we had was copper facilities. And we were able to, of course, provide a dial-up internet service, if anybody can remember dial-up service and think about how that worked. But that was the thing. You had to start somewhere. And that would work through most all of our buried copper facility. But to grow an internet service that was more robust than a dial-up service, you had to rethink that plant facility out there. And we were already moving to fiber facilities on an inter-exchange basis. In other words, from one community to another community, because we could carry so many more circuits and so much more traffic on that. But the thought of bringing it out beyond that, from the switching centers in each of those communities right out to the subscriber's house, was really going to be the next step, and that was going to take some time too. When I left and retired in the end of 2014, we were almost there, and I think they finished it up pretty close and through 2015, and maybe a little cleanup into 16. I think the members of the company can take a little pride in the actions of the company, because we were one of the companies very early on as an independent company to do that. And I think it has really helped to transition the telecommunications for Northeast Nebraska Telephone Company. Through my senior year and afterwards through the summer, I worked for a neighbor, but I knew some guys that were working for Northeast. And they said they might be needing some help, and so I came down and was able to start down here, and it was one of those things, well, yeah, okay, this will be interesting until I decide what I'm going to do. Why, this will be good.
Did you decide finally?
And 50 years later, I'm thinking, well, now if I just decide what it is I want to do.
Have you figured it out in
No,
retirement?
not yet. If you enjoy what you're doing, that is really the most important thing. And I guess if I stayed here 50 years, I must have enjoyed part of it.
It, yeah.
Yeah. And I've got several to-do lists, and I do look at them.
Look at them.
Yeah, and I'm pretty good at putting things off.